Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today is part 2 of our animated movie review of the movie Luck. The question we want to answer today is, why is this movie so good? Is it really amazing storytelling, or did they just get lucky? Let's find out. Now I'm going to go through essentially what is the hero's journey and the monomyth breakdown of this story. And I'll let you know that right up front here, right now, right here and now, there's going to be some minor spoilers. If you want to skip ahead, I'll let you know the time code to skip ahead to. But these minor spoilers are in Call to Action and Refusal of Call. Okay, so skip ahead to Supernatural Aid if you want to miss any spoilers. Even I would say these are big enough that you might want to skip them. If you want to go in blind, skip these. So first of all, call to action. Sam's situation, this is part of her backstory. Sam is aging out of the foster care system, and it's time for her to move out. With all of this happening, Sam really wants to ensure that her friend Hazel, actually, who is getting ready to have a weekend visit, she wants to make sure that goes smoothly for Hazel. So even in this tumultuous time where she is essentially being kicked out of the home that she currently has, and the only home, I don't want to say the only home that she ever knows, but it's the home that she has right now, her first thoughts are a little bit of herself, but also of Hazel. And so that's where that duality comes in. That's where that, the double motivations come in. Next up is Refusal of the Call. And when we see this is essentially where Sam is sort of trying to talk the head of the household. Are you sure you couldn't just stay another couple days? Do I have to leave right now? Because, and this is where we get the sense that, again, Sam wants to stay for herself because she's a little uncertain. Her situation is changing, and it's natural to be apprehensive about that. But also, she really is truly and deeply concerned about Hazel, because Hazel has had, let's just say, some bad things happen in the past, it seems like, when it comes to weekend visits. And Sam has also experienced that. So she understands how that feels. And she wants to make sure that everything goes smoothly for Hazel. Supernatural aid. So like I said, Sam's generosity, we sort of jump forward. We go through some stuff. We see sort of Sam's day-to-day, her new day-to-day life. We see her being unlucky. Then we see her taking a little bit of a respite from all of this, and she's just sort of in a spot, and she is actually, out of the generosity of her heart, basically being kind to a cat. This is turns out to be then Bob, who becomes her supernatural aid or her helper. So this is essentially where she ends up finding the lucky penny, and this changes, of course, everything for her. Next up is crossing the threshold. So this essentially begins after some more time has elapsed in the movie, and of course, Sam recognized the power of this legitimate lucky penny. She was very happy to have it, and then she loses it. And of course, that is upsetting her because she wants to actually use this penny to help her friend. And that's what makes this so endearing. Of course, like you see in the trailer, she loses the penny. She accidentally flushes it. And then she begins to chase after the cat because she goes back to the same location. She sees the cat again. The cat talks. She's like, what? And she's after the cat. And this shows that dogged determination that Sam has. And it's really, this determination is, again, not for herself, but it's actually helping others. So again, Sam being selfless. So let me pull up the journey here. So crossing the threshold is the point where the person, the protagonist, crosses into the field of adventure. And this is very clear to me that this looks like this is happening when Sam is still in her normal world, but she begins to pursue the cat. Now we come to Belly of the Whale. Belly of the Whale represents the final separation from the hero's known world and her normal self. And in this case, That is literally when she follows the cat through the portal, right? So she makes that decision at that point in time. Yes, I'm doing this. So it's a little bit of crossing the threshold and belly of the whale together. I feel like that whole scene is a little bit of both, where she decides to pursue the cat and then decides to continue pursuing cat into this portal that the cat opens. Sam, as you saw, then ends up in the land of luck. There's a little bit of dialogue back and forth between her and the cat, and then we enter into the road of trials. And I won't tell you about each trial because that would absolutely spoil the fun of the movie for you. But I will tell you that there are many trials, and in fact, I documented them here, and in my opinion, there are 7 different trials. And I thought that was fitting because, well, 7, it's a lucky number, at least, for us in a Western culture, lucky number 7. And so I just thought that was interesting because I didn't even realize that there were 7 trials in the Road of Trials until I was like, wait a minute now. Okay, so next up we come to meeting with the goddess. Okay, and the goddess, as I described, was or is Babe the dragon. It's when she visits the luck dragon, and I call Babe the luck dragon because she is essentially the CEO. She can sniff out bad luck, so I consider her to be a luck dragon. I don't know if that's what she really is, but I'm going to refer to her as a luck dragon throughout the rest of this review. Meeting with the goddess is this point when the person experiences what they call like a love that has power and significance of all out, that is all powerful and all encompassing. It's an unconditional love. That is exactly how Babe is. She cares for all of these people. She is, of course, the head person. She's running this world of good luck. And she truly does care for all of these people in the land of good luck. And she is always, she's sort of hyper vigilant, right? To make sure she doesn't get any bad luck in the world because of how deeply she cares, not just for the people in good luck, but actually for the humans as well, because she enjoys seeing good luck happen to the humans, right? This brings us to temptation. And I thought this was interesting because temptation happens in a couple of different ways in this movie. So temptation, I will say, in this movie is always born of good intentions. Basically a selfless act on Sam's part leads her to the point of temptation. And then let's just say that her and, of course, Bob seem to be working together. They're working together in the land of luck to ultimately try to get a lucky penny. And they do some things, and let's just say some things get messed up. And as you saw if you've seen the longer trailer, that is where they get, the land of luck sort of gets separated and disconnected from the human world. So if you truly want to go in not knowing anything other than what was in the trailer, this pretty much covers everything that we've seen in the trailer. And as we move ahead, I will be revealing some very minor spoilers, but there are spoilers ahead. So next up in the journey, we come to Atonement with the Father. Now this is where the things that Sam has done becomes known. And let's just say that obviously Babe the dragon is very disappointed. Now she is, of course, the power figure in this land of luck. And as a result, Sam needs to make things right with her, right? So there is actually quite a bit that happens between this step of temptation and atonement. The things that she and Bob did, which disconnect the land of luck, they basically have to go and make right. So then they have to present their solution back to Babe the dragon so that ultimately things can be set right with the land of luck. Next, we come up to Apostasis. Apostasis is basically what I would call gathering or achieving divine knowledge, right? And this is a moment for Sam where she has sort of seized the bigger picture, and yet at the same time, this is a moment of temptation for Babe, our good luck dragon. And I really enjoyed that play because we have two different characters here that are essentially both showing that they are in the hero's journey. They're obviously playing little different roles, and our main hero that we stick with is Sam, but we're getting to see another hero in this journey, in her own journey, at a different step of her journey, and she is being tempted. I just loved that. But you will see that when they're trying to basically get connected back to the real world, and Bob and Sam present their solution to Babe, Babe is briefly tempted to, let's just say, I don't want to say take the easy way out, but take a way out that seems ideal. But as we've learned while following Sam through her journey to collect the solution in this case, that even though maybe it seems ideal, it's not ideal. Basically, this is a learning about how she learns how good luck and bad luck interact, and she learns a little bit about maybe the importance of bad luck on the way, and that it's not all bad, is it? And, you know, I guess it's kind of hard to describe, but you'll see in the movie, the message gets across. I think this is a message of balance, essentially. You know, you got to have, you know, even though we don't want to have the bad stuff sort of starkly highlights the things that are good. And it makes things very clear. We have the good, we have the bad, we have the push and the pull, the yin and the yang. So that's what I see with this part of the movie, the apostasis for Sam and the temptation for Babe. Now, next up, we have the ultimate boon, and this is where Sam actually gets her wish. And her wish is not for herself, it's for another person. This is her wish for Hazel in this case. What she wants, she wants to help Hazel out with something, and this is where Sam is able to achieve that. And she's able to see this happen while she's still in the land of luck. So it's very fulfilling. And essentially, this is the climax of the movie. But this is essentially when Sam achieves her goal. Now, I will say then that there is actually another thing that happens. And this is when Sam essentially gets another ultimate boon. And you don't know what that is. And again, there's a little bit of another thing that you can see. There's something that Sam wants for herself, but she won't ask for it. And so this thing that she wants for herself, but she won't ask for, she also gets at this point in the movie, which is why I call this part the ultimate boon. She gets her goal, which is actually for another person, and then she gets her desire that she wants for herself, but she hasn't actually told anyone. People are able to figure it out, obviously. You're able to figure it out. We know exactly what's missing in Sam's life by this time. It's very clear. Next up, we have Refusal of Return. And I thought this was interesting because the Refusal of Return isn't actually from Sam. It is actually from our co-hero. And I know that doesn't make a lot of sense right now, but this is basically Bob refuses to return and essentially decides that he wants to join Sam and that he's grown close to Sam and he wants to go with her to the human world versus his other option of return. So this is Refusal of Return, and I just thought it was interesting that it doesn't really come from our primary protagonist, but it comes from our supporting protagonist, the supporting hero in this case, which is definitely Bob. A little bit unexpected, but enjoyable, and something that Bob needs in addition to something that Sam needs. Magic flight. So sometimes the hero must escape with the boon, and I essentially say that the magic flight then does occur when Sam and Bob return to the human world. Now, then we have rescue from without. Oftentimes, the hero needs a powerful guide to bring them back to everyday life, and this is exactly the role that Bob ends up serving, right? He ends up serving a very important role in Sam's life and being something that she needs, and so that is rescue from without. Now, I would also say that I think this is mostly one way. Maybe you could make an argument that this is two ways, that they're both helping each other. But I think the definite need is more on Sam's part, a little bit less on Bob's part. But Bob is happy to do this. He is very close to Sam now. And so this is, he definitely gets something from this, but I would say he is sort of returning a favor. He feels like at this point, like he's taken a lot, and now he feels like he needs to give back. And so he gets something from giving back, but he's mostly giving back at this point. Next up, we have crossing the return threshold. So again, this is literally them going back to the human world from the world of luck. I think it's quite literal crossing of the return threshold, and just integrating back into normal life. And you get to see that. So you get to see the refusal of return, magic flight, rescue from without, and crossing the return threshold all happen very, very quickly towards the end of the movie. Like I said, this is the falling action part. This is where we have the resolution. We're tying up all the loose ends, essentially. So most of this stuff is happening towards the end of the movie now. Lastly, or not lastly, next to last, we have Master of the Two Worlds. And Sam and Bob, we get to see them having a weekend. We get to see Sam, and we get to see Hazel again, who is Sam's friend from foster care. And we get to see that this weekend visit that they're having is kind of a regular thing. We get to see that Sam's wish for Hazel has been fulfilled. So that is also heartwarming. And then we also get to see that this is a part of Sam's wish for herself, too. This is Sam wanting to be a part of Hazel's life still, and she gets to be a part of Hazel's life still. I think that's very important. And the capacity that Sam and Hazel and Bob all act in, they become the thing that Sam needs together. And then we have freedom to live. So the mastery leads to freedom to live your life, basically, this mastery of the two worlds. And then we see Sam, Hazel, and Bob, and that's what we see when we see them together. We see this freedom to live, and we see that Sam is no longer lonely, and that Sam is now essentially complete, which enables her to move forward. And she accepts now bad luck and good luck together, but instead of focusing on the bad luck, she focuses on what she has instead of what she does not have. She's focusing, again, still, and always kind of has focused on the positive, but now she can be a little more of the accepting of bad luck because of the things that she's learned about bad luck and what it actually brings to you. So we can see that one of the reasons why this movie is so good is because it sticks very closely to the 17 stages of the hero's journey and completes all the stages. And it doesn't do them out of order. There's no stage that undoes what a previous stage does. And it just follows the classic way of telling a story. It follows the classic hero's journey. And anytime you follow the classic hero's journey, anytime you meet all those requirements, anytime all those requirements actually mesh well with each other, then I think you're going to get a good story. And that's why, in my opinion, this movie is compelling storytelling, just like almost every John Lasseter movie. What do I think of the movie? My conclusions about the movie are that it's phenomenal. This is absolutely a movie that you need to see. I really greatly enjoyed the movie, and I will definitely watch this movie again. Keep in mind that I haven't watched any animated movies that I can recall. I can't really remember the last animated movie that I watched and enjoyed. I mean, I'm sure I've seen some. Mostly I've been watching like TV shows and anime and stuff like that. So the last animated stuff that I watched that I enjoyed was probably anime. And aside from that, no like movies are jumping to my head. That's how unique and that's how special this movie is. This movie is absolutely a rainbow and a pot of gold and a lucky penny all wrapped into one. So I definitely urge you to go and see this movie. If you enjoyed this review, then please let me know in the comments down below, and I will definitely be doing this again. In the meantime, if you want to continue to smash the narrative, then smash the like, subscribe, and share buttons, and I will see you in the next video. Have a nice day.